All right, y'all, we back with another video, man. Y'all know how we do. Always pushing health, wealth, better understanding the self, and giving praises to the Most High. So check this out. In this video, we going over Officer Tatum exposed. Y'all know I've been giving Officer Tatum hell this year. Okay, he's one of those. He tries to fit the narrative where the money's at, and sometimes you just got to keep it real. And he's a biased type of guy. It was a white guy that called him out on it, right? And he actually did a video. I checked out the video. He did a video of this white guy saying that, the white guy, what is he saying? Like, I'm speaking facts. You can't come at Officer Tatum. And then shout out to the lead attorney. Lead attorney really called it out, pinpointed. I'm going to show y'all this video where he pretty much definitely wins the case that Officer Tatum practiced that diversity thesis that I be talking about on my channel, where they try to talk real fast, real smart, but then they really is deceiving the people. That's Officer Tatum for you. But without further ado, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, push me on the algorithm. If you're new, if you returning, I appreciate y'all, man, for supporting it, holding me down. Make sure y'all comment, man. Let me know what y'all think about this. But without further ado, let's get it.
So, was the officer allowed to pull the driver over because the officer saw that he didn't have his headlights on?
So, that's what they said. Now, I'm going to keep it real with everybody. The officer said that it was raining. You didn't have your headlights on. The real story to this is the officers knew he was getting weed out the drug house, right? They knew he picked something up, but they wanted to be able to pull him over and get the charge. Because if you don't have no reason to pull somebody over, but you knew they just got drugs, you got to think of something. And this is what he did. But now it's being put on a national stage that nobody's talking about. They use tactics. Police officers use tactics to be able to get into your car. They already done did the investigation. They got their snitches already. They know what's going on, but they got to catch you red-handed, and that's where it gets tricky, and that's when they bend the rules. This is what they do. Officer Tatum knows this, but he's just such a cover. He just, now everybody's just exposing. So that's what I think. I think the police know what's going on, and it could be a little corruption going on. It could be they protecting somebody over here and not protecting that trap house, so they're putting pressure on those guys coming out of their house. This is bigger than what people think it is, but it definitely need to get the spotlight brought on, in my opinion. But let them go.
That's the question that I'm asking you. And you, it's your first day of law school. You say, well, I don't know. How am I supposed to figure it out? Well, I'll tell you, young student, if you have a question about the legality of something, the first place you go to is the law. You go to the state statute. All right, here is the state statute right here. The Florida Senate, the Florida statutes, when lighted lamps are required. All right, this is going to explain to us when you have to have your headlights on. If the officer saw that the driver did not have his headlights on when required, then the officer was correct in pulling him over for this violation. Let's read it. It says, every vehicle operated on a highway within the state shall display lighted lamps and illuminated devices as herein respectively required. Okay, number one, at any time from sunset to sunrise. So basically at nighttime in the twilight hours. But here is where we get into the thick of things. You are required to have your headlights on during any rain, smoke, or fog. So if I ask you, young student of mine, when in Florida are you required to have your headlights on relevant to this specific case? The answer is during any rain, smoke, or fog. You got that? Rain, smoke, or fog. That's it. Now, you guys may say, wow, being a lawyer is pretty easy. I know what rain means, I know what smoke means, and I know what fog means, right? Well, I got you. The most important word when we analyze this particular situation is not rain, is not smoke, and it's not fog. What's the most important word? It's during. You see here, guys, this during here, this is the operative word. This state statute, honestly, is very specific. It doesn't say before it's raining. It doesn't say after it's raining, it says during the rain. So what does that mean? It means that the officer has to initiate the traffic stop during the rain. The officer has to pull this driver over while it's raining. The pulling over of the driver and the rain needs to occur simultaneously. Is that clear to you? And since you're a first-year law student, it's your first day of class, you might say, well, that's not really what they meant, right? They didn't mean during. No. The United States Supreme Court, all the way down to all the lower courts, have always said that the legislature means exactly what they've said. If the legislature would have wanted to write this law to say, before the rain, then the legislature could have done that. If the legislature wanted to say 30 minutes after the rain or an hour after the rain, the legislator could have wrote that in the statute. The legislature did neither, however. The legislature said during. These state legislators are all adults, probably half of them are attorneys, so they know how to use their words well, and they all said during. What does during mean in this context? It means two events occurring simultaneously: the pulling over of the driver and the rain. We got that? We're on the same page? Now you know how to analyze this case legally. Now let's go to the...
So, like I already told y'all, we already know he was just trying to get him to pull over to get into the car. It was a tactic that he's trying to use. Oh, he said inclement weather. He didn't say it's raining, you got to have your headlights on, and he didn't arrest him while it was raining. But let's check it out.
Facts of this case. Was it raining? Here we have the driver's car, and we can clearly see water droplets. Now, let me ask you, law student, thinking critically, if there are water droplets on a car, does it necessarily mean that it's raining? This is easy for you, even though it's your first day. Obviously, the answer is no. Water droplets can be on a car for numerous reasons. Water droplets could be on a car because it rained 15 minutes ago. Water can be on a car because the car got washed. Water can be on the car because the car rolled over a puddle and water splashed on the car. So just because there are water droplets on the car does not mean that it's raining. What I'm going to do is play this video, but I'm going to mute it so we can focus on the water droplets. And what I want you to look at, young student, I want you to see if there are any new droplets that you see forming on the car as the video plays. Now, everybody take a close look. I'm going to play the video. Do you see any new water droplets? If you see new water droplets, then we can assume that that's rain. If we see no new water droplets, then what does that mean? All right, let's play the video. So here is the video. It is playing. Again, I've muted it because we don't need the sound to figure out whether it's raining or not. I'll be honest with you. I'm looking at the glass. I'm looking at the molding. I'm looking at the door. I see no new water droplets. Do you guys see any new water droplets? I don't see one.
No.
We're just letting it play here. I'm going to say that it's not raining, guys. Could it have rained previously? 100%. I do believe that it was raining 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes ago. But if I'm honest with you, I saw no new water droplets forming on that car. So, young student of mine, this is the question for you. All right, you ready? During the time that the body cam video was taken, was it raining? That's your question. Now, I do need to point out that it is technically possible for the officer to have pulled the driver over and then 5, 10, 20 seconds when the officer gets up there, it stops raining. So that it was raining when the officer pulled the driver over, but it's not raining 20 seconds into the video. That is a possibility technically, but just going on the video as we see it, I believe it is not currently raining. What did we say about the law? We said, young law student, that every vehicle operated upon a highway, every driver is required to have their headlights on during any rain, smoke, or fog. So was this driver required to have his headlights on? If the officer pulled the driver over during the rain, then yes. But if the officer pulled the driver over when it was not raining, then no. Now, when you hear all these content creators, these YouTubers talking about this issue and you don't know who's right, now you know how to think for yourself. Now you know how to legally analyze whether this driver was required to have his headlights on or not. Now, law student of mine, I'm going to give you a quick pop quiz. I am going to have you analyze some of the comments of the regular people, the people who are not in law school like you are. And I want to see if you can identify any issues with how these laymen are thinking about this case. Here's the first comment. It says the ground is wet and there are water particles on his windows. Just because it isn't currently raining doesn't negate the fact that inclement weather was and is still problematic. All right, law student of mine, do you see a problem with this argument? Let's look at this one. TLA, we can see that there is water on the vehicle and that the skies are cloudy. So even if it wasn't raining in the video, it probably was raining before they started rolling. Law student, future lawyer, do you see a problem with this comment? This is why I love the internet. This is why I love YouTube. You guys can learn to critically think in a legal manner, just as we attorneys do. No information, no knowledge is locked behind some gate. No one's gatekeeping now that we have the internet and especially all these chat GPT-4s. Now you guys know something that these regular laymen do not. All right, now let's see what Officer Tatum has to say about this. Let's see if we can spot any issues to his thinking, to his rationale, or is lackluster wrong. Let's take a look.
You're going to hear this guy talk about it. You see people say it online. It's the most asinine and ridiculous claim. It's because they hate police and they always want the police to be wrong, so they will make up anything. It wasn't raining. Look at this video. This is fresh rain droplets still hanging onto his vehicle. If somehow it wasn't inclement weather, which means it wasn't raining at all, you wouldn't still see rain droplets on his car.
Let's stop it right there. Officer Tatum says if it wasn't inclement weather, you wouldn't see rain droplets still on his car. Now, guys, I got a question for you, and I'm going to see who are the A students and who are the B students, all right? There are two problems with what Brandon Tatum just said. He said that if it wasn't inclement weather, you still wouldn't see the rain droplets on the car. Can you identify the two problems with this statement? I'll give you 5 seconds, all right? And while you're considering it, it's very hard to get an A in law school, okay? All right.
So as y'all can see, like what I said earlier, y'all, they use the diversity thesis to where they're going to change some little things around, and you're going to have to get a lawyer to really break it down because they are sharp like that. Guys like Officer Tatum, these guys that are, they on YouTube and they pimping perspectives and changing them around.
All right, time's up. If you got this answer, then at least you have a B. What's the problem with what he said? Let's go back and take a look.
Look at this video. This is fresh rain droplets still hanging onto his vehicle. If somehow it wasn't inclement weather, which means it wasn't raining at all, you wouldn't still see rain droplets on his car.
He said if it wasn't inclement weather, you wouldn't see raindrops on the car. What is the B answer? The B answer is, Officer Tatum, respectfully, you can see raindrops on a car when it's not raining. The rain could have stopped 5 minutes ago. It could have stopped 15 minutes ago. It could have stopped 30 minutes ago. Just because there are raindrops on a car does not mean that it's raining. If you got that answer, then I will give you a B. All right. That's the layup answer. But do you see a second problem with what he said? And let me just replay it because it's hard to catch.
If somehow it wasn't inclement weather, which means it wasn't raining at all, you wouldn't still see rain droplets on his car.
Did you catch it? Guys, I will tell you that if you are an attorney, you have to pay such close attention to every single word. What did Officer Tatum say? He said, if it wasn't inclement weather. What's the problem with that? The problem is inclement weather isn't a thing. It's nowhere in the statute. Guys, here is the complete statute that governs when your lights must be on, your headlights. Again, we see here during any rain, smoke, or fog. Do you see anything about inclement weather? As a lawyer, you have to pay attention to when people try to introduce new words, new meanings into an argument. Nowhere in here does it talk about inclement weather. In fact, if I go up here and just do a Control F, let's see. I am going to put the word inclement. I don't know if you can see this or not, guys, but I put the word inclement in here and it comes up 0/0. Nowhere in here does it talk about inclement weather. So when Officer Tatum says, hey, it's inclement weather, and you have to know as a law student that he's introducing new words that are not in the statute. The only thing we lawyers are concerned about is during any rain, smoke, or fog. That's it. I don't want to hear about inclement weather. I don't want to hear about low visibility. I don't want to hear about wet roads. The Florida legislature said during any rain, smoke, or fog. So pay attention to that. Did you get it? Did you get the inclement weather injection?
Yep. I got my lawyer for you, Officer Tatum. See, a lawyer like him they understand the little tactics. Same tactics that the officer did on Mr. William Mcneil. They find little tactics and wordplay to do to get to their objective and their result. And it needs to be exposed. We need to know about this is what they use to try to pull you over when they want to pull you over. They're going to find little things, just like, oh, I smell weed. They'll always say something and do this, and we know it in the community because they do it over and over again to justify crimes. Rather, if you done did something or not, you still got to go by the book, by the law, and we need somebody holding them accountable. I'm going to play a little bit more of this and give a closing statement, and I want to know what y'all think in the comments section.
If you got that, then you got an A on that pop quiz, and I really am impressed. If you got the B, then that's fine, but if you got an A, give yourself a pat on the back.
If somehow it wasn't inclement weather, which means it wasn't raining at all, you wouldn't still see rain droplets on his car. Inclement weather doesn't mean that it's only inclement at the instant that it's raining. And then if it stopped raining for 30 minutes or 30 seconds, then all of a sudden it's not inclement anymore.
Do you see a problem with Officer Tatum's thinking about this statute? He says that if the rain stops 30 seconds or 30 minutes from when the officer pulls over the driver, then that doesn't mean that it's not inclement anymore. You, my little law student, do you see problems with this legal analysis? Hopefully you're all A students now and you're asking, where in the heck did inclement even come from? It's not in the state statute. It's not.
So there y'all see, man, the lead attorney exposing Officer Tatum and how he uses his words. We're going to definitely hold on to this and make sure we check him every time he's speaking on certain topics, because he's going to try to change the word play around, and he's going to try to use the diversity thesis. And this is what they do. And they try to prove their point and make money doing it, no matter what it is. So let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section, man. I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace and love.
You are totally dependent on other people to take care of your needs because you don't have those roots sunk into the ground. To have a community, you must have three things to have a community in it. You must have a wholly independent economic structure that can provide goods, service, products, and things for your own people, and jobs and tax bases for your own people. You should at least control 4 basic things. You should be trying to control water, food, medicine, and energy to be able to survive.
Here we got Mr. Pollock. He had a cornfield. He took advantage of a free water test from us, and this is what we found in this water. We found sulfur, we found hardness, and we solved these problems with an easy fix of 2 tanks. So get your free water test today. Stay blessed. Click the link below.